Nyameng ake kenu Nyameng ñinum programme oti mum binalale Gambian Talents TV arabo araba ka botalan nani foka jitala luluka nin ko aka kenu Nyameng ñi ado ni ciosano le fere nin ko ado ni ciosano akita ko mu yalon ka mabotale nañu jamano molo mu yalon ko fang ya ado ni ciosano lo mbake molo mu yalon ko fana ya ado ni ciosano lo bari man fin kankurango lo maño bito hani fa kaseboyo ntakadi touré mbina laliji ko kuwal natale mungu ka ado ni ciosano la kuwala anin Gambian Talents TV ado ni ciosano tamabulale koteke albulan noma kona fale Nyameng arabo arabalo ado ni ciosano anin te touré muso fen tamabula koteke.
Situated in Kombo Costa Road, Sanyang village has been known for its natural resources and friendly environment. Sanyang is blessed with a beach site. This beach site has contributed immensely to the development of the Gambia. Youths of the village established different hotels and lodges to earn a living. The Gambia population consumes fish, and a lot of fishermen depend on the Sanyang beach site. Nassim Fishmeal factory came to Sanyang in early 2016, and after signing a contract with the national government, the factory representatives paid a visit to the Village Development Committee. During their visit, they presented a development plan to the VCD to get their approval.
Villagers were complicit in that they did not ask for educated people to explain what the consequences are. Somebody just came and said, well, they're going to build a factory, they're going to give you some money. I think they were given about $100,000 to give them the permission to build this thing on. And now you got people like environment and some of the ministers saying, well, it's the villagers that have allowed it.
We learned that it was given the approval by the former VDC, but that is not certain because we don't have documents seen physically to confirm the reality of that. But it is established, and then that's what we know.
It is important to note that in early 2016, the Gambia was under the leadership of Yaya Jammeh. Nonetheless, the Mauritanian company continued its operation under the current president, Adama Barrow. The factory is one of the 4 fishmeal processing plants currently operating on the south coast of the Gambia.
It affects not only the hotel, huge time or hugely, it has affected the whole environment. But generally, as you specifically said, it has affected our part of the beach tourism, which is based on tourism. It has affected all our activities inside out, because the environment, the air is polluted, the environment in the sea, the aquatic environment is also very, very polluted. And that is something that we Gambia sell.
Nassim Fishmeal factory bakoy gis factory bobu mo nek suma loxo chamoy ni ñu nek dara lo xamne daf ñu indil fi daf ñu fi indil lo xamne dafa nek
Nassim Fishmeal factory brings us dirty and unpleasant environment which is affecting our health, and the factory is hindering our work. When they start processing, the scent we smell do give us headache and diarrhea.
understand suñu starté liggéey suñu biir yi daf day métti nga xam ne ñu ngi am ay biir yu daw because of ngelaw bu nekk di nokki.
After its operation, Nassim Fishmeal factory have been battling with the youth of Sanyang over environment pollution.
Li di métti ci waa Sanyang rek li métti ci aduna bi la. Those
who normally benefited from the Sanyang Sea are too much. We used to see trucks from Senegal to export dry fish. Women doing their business, all of this reduced because of the factory. The residents of Sanyang feel that the company is here to destroy the environment in particular and the country at large.
With regards to the fishing mill here, it really disturbs the people, the environment, and then the business around this area. Because when these people start production, the whole place stinks. And then even if you are eating, you will have to leave your food, and then you cannot complete eating. And then there are so many big bars and restaurants around the beach here that are benefiting the people of Sanyang and also the youth.
It's the fishing industry, and they've been doing very well as far as I know. All the fishermen here were happy. The women that do the fishing, they were happy. But since this factory's been here, and they're all complaining now.
Well, basically, since the factory has been built, they have been pumping gases from the chimney of the factory, and it does really impinge on people's enjoyment of their environment and also their health. Because I don't know if you remember, there was a time that they had a bit of an incident, and the Environment Subcommittee from the National Assembly asked for the factory to be closed, and they were taking the liquid to be poured at the Kotu ponds, which is where all the dirty water and everything else is supposed to be processed. But the smell was so bad, and because a number of wealthy people live in the area, they've decided to stop it and move it back here again. Now, you cannot really escape the smell. There was a time that even here, but because I told them that I'm going to take them to court for the smell coming into my compound, so that a lot of the time what they're doing is they're waiting for the smell to go, the wind to blow in the other direction so that they can operate. But basically the smells are really, really bad. Nitrogen sulfide is actually a very strong poison.
So that is very, very unpleasant. Obviously, that's one thing. The smell is quite disgusting. It is a smell like I've never smelt. It changes as well, so on different days there are different smells. So sometimes the smell seems to be coming from the smoke in the air, other times it's very obviously coming from the sea. It's, as I say, it's disgusting. It affects me personally, but it affects my guests, and that means my business is affected because people are coming here saying they will probably never come back. Even people that have been coming to Gambia for years are saying that much as they love the place.
As the battle continues, on June 30th, 2018, Sanyang Coals held a peaceful protest to call for the immediate closure of Nassim Fishmeal factory. Due to the June 30th protest, Nassim Fishmeal factory in Sanyang was officially shut down in July 2018 by the Gambian government. However, by the end of the year in December, the company resumed operations. Since resuming operation, the company has also built a waste pipe into the ocean. It was published by the Voice newspaper on December 11, 2018, that residents of Sanyang village in the Kombo South district took a resistance against Nassim Fishmeal factory by removing its waste pipe, which they claim its disposal liquid waste pollutes the sea.
The beach is covered, there are dead fish in it often, it's covered with a thick gooey oil, so my guests, me as well, and my guests go to swim and our feet are covered in thick oil. Our shoes, guests have thrown away shoes because they've got this thick gooey stuff on it that they can't get off, and they've come running out of the sea going, oh, where can I wash this? And it won't wash off, it's thick and horrible.
Their waste is being pumped into the sea. They put a pipe that connects the factory to the sea. That is what is affecting the sea. The sickness we are facing is coming from the factory because this has never happened in the sea. The smoke is different from the scent. The scent we inhale is important. And at the same time, it is polluting the sea because there is a poison they pump into the sea that also is too disgusting. In defense of the factory, Abdul Wahab, the head of operation, said that the company is not jeopardizing with the health of the residents of Sanyang, and the factory is just there to process fish and create employment. To him, the smoke and the waste being pumped into the sea is not toxic and it's normal.
We have a water treatment plant in place that properly treats our waste water and making it pure. You understand? Before this water is discharged, before we lay the pipe to discharge this water, we take permission from the NEA, the National Environment Agency, and then series of tests was taken to determine whether the water will be harmful to the species in the ocean, as you said, or not. So we have all the results from labs here in Gambia, labs in Senegal. You understand the test we are taking, and then it was determined that the water from the factory is not harmful because of we have treated. It's just like ordinary water. Because of its excess water, it cannot be stored in any place, so we just have to let it go. You understand? But before we discharge to the ocean, we first went through process, and then the water was tested whether for acidity or whether it will be harmful or not. So it was determined that the water is not harmful.
Since its inception, the factory has been excessively overfishing sardines for the billion-dollar global fish meal industry. According to the residents, the processed fish is exported to China for pigs and fish on China's mega farm. The only thing that surprises me about the factory is that if the factory processes food for human consumption, then we can say, no way, we must bear with it. But according to what I heard, if it is that, definitely, we Africans, not only Gambians, we Africans should look at ourselves. Money should not destroy our future, but we bring money first and forget about the future. What the factory is processing, according to what I heard, they feed pigs and other animals. Before that, let them leave it to our children and grandchildren.
Use of the fish meal. Of course, the fish meal is used for agricultural purposes. It's used for animal feed. It's used for even fish farming. You understand? There are varieties of uses for the fish meal. So it's not purposely going to feed pig. No, there are thousands of uses of the fish meal. You understand? So we are not doing it purposely to feed pig. No. We are producers, okay? We produce and then we sell to companies that utilize this product for various uses. So we cannot determine exactly what they are going to use it for.
The women in the garden are totally dismayed by the factory. According to them, if the factory starts processing, they do go home because they cannot stay there with the steam and bad odor coming from the company.
We can't even breathe. Sometimes when they start processing, we have to manage with the odor because we can't do anything about it. We have seen them here like this. We are all Gambians and we come here for business purpose. In our garden, our products eventually changed from green to yellow. We thought that it was lack of water that is affecting our crops. But we observe that it is caused by the company. Since they start processing, we never breathe in fresh air. It is true that it's disturbing us. The odor disturbs us and it usually affects our tomatoes. We are worried. We don't know where is this, but we know that it is caused by the factory because this has never happened here.
According to the residents of Sanyang, they engaged the stakeholders and authorities, but they did not get any response from the government.
The villagers were not aware of it, and even if they had received $10 million for this factory to be built, once government officials are aware that it is this bad, and they are aware of it because we've had meetings with the people at the NEA, and one of their specialists had been to Mauritania, and when he was there with all the studies and so on that he did, he actually said in front of the cameras that they had agreed that the pipe should be minimum 1.5 kilometers.
This case has been reported to all the authorities. Even the president's office one time sent a delegation here as they reported that they were from president's office. That was exactly when the Parliament Committee on Environment came here to assess the situation after the outcry of the community and all the stakeholders. Yes, Environment Agency is fully aware of it, and generally, yes, we can say everybody, all the stakeholders and all the authorities, the Fisheries Department, GT Board, everybody is aware of it.
Paradise Beach. President office, Parliament.
We wrote to the President's office, we wrote to the Parliament, we invited the Parliament to come here. The Parliament themselves knew that this will bring difficulty to the residents of Kombo Sanyang and the West Coast region. Following due diligence, we went to Lamin Dabo, the chief of Kombo Costa Road, but he said that he is not aware of it and he is not going to say anything about the issue. He referred us to go to National Environment Agency. GTTV reached out to National Environment Agency, but to their response, the director of NEA, Dudu Tarawale, said that if we do not present an accreditation card from the Gambia Press Union, he will not grant us any interview. Tarawale went further and urged us to say anything we want to say in this story. The director of NEA, Dudu Tarawale, asked me to excuse him that he has work to do.
So many people are saying that Nassim Fishmeal company, it's bribing the authorities for them not to take step. Hence, the Sanyang people are complaining. What is your reaction on that?
I don't think that is true. You can go out and find out and see the truth for yourself. Whatever we do it through the right channel. All right. If you can ask anybody from the Sanyang VDC, we have a good MOU understanding. We always keep in touch, and then whatever problem they have, they come to us.
Okay, so the stand of the company is you guys are not bribing anybody to do any operation.
We will not do anything to jeopardize our company's reputation or to damage the environment or to bring any harm to anybody whatsoever.
So as a company, if half of a community is complaining of one thing, will your consent still allow you to operate in that community?
Let me say this, there are industrial, any industry there is an industrial purpose, okay? The economy needs these products to be tapped into, you understand? You cannot just say, okay, I'm going to do farming to process a rice, or I'm going to continue importing rice. The country have resources. You need people to tap into those resources to process them. You understand? The Gambia is blessed with fish. All right. So do we just leave those fish in the ocean and then, without utilizing those resources, fish resources? The question is no, because the government needs money. You understand? We need to pay tax, and then there is industrialization should be the order of the day, whereby to put more money into the economy. You understand? If we don't tap into the fish resources, obviously the fish are not going to stay. The fish are not going to stay there forever. They will migrate, go to another country.
Talking about the health impact of the factory, the Sanyang coals claimed the loss of 2 lives and some other health complications like pneumonia, headache caused by the Nassim Fishmeal company.
I don't know if you're aware of nitrogen sulfide, but basically it's extremely strong toxin. Once it's in the body, it can lead to a number of complications. Like, for instance, now everybody's talking about this coronavirus. Most of the symptoms of coronavirus are about the same, if not worse, than when this factory is running. You get this burning sensation in your throat, very difficult to breathe. Those people with breathing difficulties already have been experiencing really bad distress. And there has been a number of people that I'm aware of that I have known very well since I've moved into the area that all of a sudden died, where they will come to work. One day they can work, then the next day, once the factory is operating, they're extremely sick and have to stop. And for that man now, you hear some people saying, well, the factory is creating employment for maybe half a dozen Gambians or whatever, and they're buying fish from the fishermen. Is that worth that young man's life? Who's going to look after his family? Who's going to look after his children till they grow up and can look after themselves?
Speaking to the former chairman of the VDC and a current employee at Nassim Fishmeal factory, Mr. Sirif Bojang said that the residents of Sanyang have been complaining about the health issues caused by the company, but there is no proof that the factory is affecting their health. To him, since the establishment of the factory, the Nassim Fishmeal factory is supporting Sanyang residents in various ways.
Well, that has been said for quite a while, but there is no evidence that it is really have any negative effects against their health, because this is only fish. There is no chemical component that is used in making this. So basically, when they say that this is just they are only taking, but there is no scientific proof that this can affect one's health.
That is just a normal state. It's like we're boiling the fish. So just like you are cooking your normal food at the house. So the steam that comes out of the pot, can you say it's harmful or not? It's just a normal steam coming from boiling of the fish. That's all. It's nothing. There's no chemical in it. It's a normal steam from boiling fish.
And in terms of the health, when they start processing, you cannot breathe because the kind of scent that comes from the odor that comes from the factory is really, really bad, and this is disturbing both the socio-economic development of the community and then the people, and then also the health condition of the people, is all the time getting worse because there are no health facilities where these people, whenever they get sick out of this, for them to go to, and then they have proper medication. But the Kenyans themselves, it is believed that they have a small health center in there where they have all the equipment and all the medicines that they need in terms of coping with the bad odor that is coming from their factory.
I think this is particularly urgent now, given the crisis with the coronavirus, which is causing respiratory illness. People are suffering here, choking and spluttering, coughing because of the smell. I think the government should immediately, as emergency measure, get these fish meal factories to stop operating, because this to happen now is beyond outrageous. We talk about the last president and murder and genocide. This president is committing murder if he allows these fish meal factories to continue to operate under these present circumstances. Forget closing schools, forget monitoring aeroplanes coming in. He needs to immediately close down these factories, because if someone goes and sets fire to it or does something terrible, I don't know how anyone could criticise. It would be an act of defence rather than an attack.
We understand, the government knows better and the people of Gambia knows better, that whatever happens here seriously in case of diseases, Gambia is not equipped, even if we have the knowledge, but we are not equipped enough to handle it. What is the smell that is coming from the factory there can be so serious. We might take it lightly because somebody can be sick. Because we have seen asthma patients from the women folk who are drying fish there. There has been asthma patients who are working here. When they start operating, we have to give them money to go back home. So that means because they collapse. So that is telling us initially, or in a very small scale, that this factory has something to do with it's a health hazard. And if nothing is done about it, honestly, for me, as my personal opinion, our number one coronavirus is this factory. Coronavirus is worldwide, but Sanyang Beach coronavirus or Sanyang's coronavirus is this fish meal factory, because it has halted all our socio-economic activities in the aquatic environment, in the air.
It's just a normal state. It's like we're boiling the fish. So just like you are cooking your normal food at the house. So the steam that comes out of the pot, can you say is harmful or not? It's just a normal steam coming from boiling of the fish, that's all. We not put the health of the community at risk.
waaye ñun fu mu nekk nii suñu gis-gis mooy ne compagnie bi du ñu rey compagnie bi existe because fu mu nekk nii nguur gi dañ gis ne ñu ngi ñoo sacrifice.
The company will not kill us and exist. To us, the government is now sacrificing us. They are giving rights to the company. Our health is being affected. Our work is having problems with the steam and bad odor coming from the company.
Gambia knows better that whatever happens here seriously in case of diseases, Gambia is not equipped, even if we have the knowledge, but we are not equipped enough to handle it. The smell that is coming from the factory there can be so serious. We might take it lightly because somebody can be sick. Because we have seen asthma patients from the women folk who are drying fish there. There has been asthma patients who are working here. When they start operating, we have to give them money to go back home. So that means because they collapse. So that is telling us initially, or in a very small scale, that this factory has something to do with it's a health hazard. And if nothing is done about it, honestly, for me, as my personal opinion, our number one coronavirus is this factory. Coronavirus is worldwide, but Sanyang Beach coronavirus or Sanyang's coronavirus is this fish meal factory, because it has halted all our socio-economic activities in the aquatic environment, in the air.
It's just a normal state. It's like we're boiling the fish. So just like you are cooking your normal food at the house. So the steam that comes out of the pot, can you say is harmful or not? It's just a normal steam coming from boiling of the fish, that's all. We will not put the health of the community at risk.
Wa ñun fu nekk ni suñu gis-gis mooy ne compagnie bi du ñu rey compagnie bi existe because fu nekk ni nguur gi dañ gis ne ñu ñoo sacrifice.
The company will not kill us and exist. To us, the government is now sacrificing us. They are giving rights to the company. Our health is being affected. Our work is having problems. So we see the government is sacrificing us. They are showing us that they are more powerful to the extent of allowing the company to be here, but they cannot empower us so that we can stay with our health.
Ko fi gis mu am wér gu yaram dafa génnee ci poosam fay lopitaan yi wala jënd garab yi lu garab seer daf koy jënd wala docteur duñ ko ko jox.
The residents of Sanyang vowed not to relent until the Nassim Fishmeal factory is relocated or demolished, and urging every Gambian, most especially the government and international organizations, to consider their plight.
Where do we see that means business or all socio-economic activities will be at halt, like coronavirus is keeping the whole world's economy at halt today. That is a good example to tell you that if nothing is done about it, all the socio-economic activities of Sanyang will be at halt. That is how serious it can be. And if nobody cares about that, we wait and see.
Shut it down, pack all the machinery into a container and deliver it to the ports so that they can take it to whichever country they want. Shut it down. Something that is not of benefit and is actually not just not of benefit, but it is a clear and present danger to the population should not be allowed to be in existence. And I'll ask directly to the people out there. Think of the people that are having to put up with this thing on a daily basis. Think that the rainy season is coming. People are now going to have to think about how to close their windows to survive. They do not have air conditioners. Some people do not even have fans. How in God's name do you expect them to survive during the rainy season? When it's this hot in the cold season, what's going to happen in the time that it's going to be hot?
Yeah, the only way to remedy it is to stop the Fishmeal factory from operating. Mm-hmm. The evidence is that these factories cannot operate safely. Mm-hmm. Obviously putting things into the sea, causing pollution is outrageous, but it seems that wherever they put them, they are unable to operate safely. It is a worldwide scandal. So the only possible remedy is to close it down.
If the government do not want problem, let them come out and stop the company. But if they don't say anything about it, we will not look at them like that. They are sitting in their offices, enjoying them with bad health. Our families are suffering. We will not have anything to feed our families. And if we go and steal, the government will arrest us. We are warning them that if they want peace, let them come and do something about the company.
We are fed up. If we defuñ ci dara, ñun dinañ def solution ci bij bi ne li stop na.
Luma am pour advice nguur bi moy du xaliss bi mo mëna yor nguur dal. Nguur bi dafa laajte wër.
What I have to advise the government is that money is not what handles the government. Government needs health, and before health comes, you should prevent, because you cannot wait for a dirty thing to enter your country after you want to stop that. I think the government should stand for the citizens, and anything that affects them, the president should stop it.
In their own country, you know, not to sell their own things just for money and forget the future. Yes, let us work together. It's going to be our real, even when we die.
Considering the climate issues, agriculture, environment, health, and economic impact, should the government consider the factory or its citizens?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Amna luñu leen andil lu bees tàq loolu mooy lan diggante nekk programme boo xam ne dafa jóg pour defar diggante yi.
diggante dinañ waxtaane nag si biir kër yi.
diggante nit ki ak boromam.
dinañ dem si biir office yi.
diggante nit ki ak yonantum.
dinañ génn réew mi.
diggante nit ki sax ak moromam. bàyyi daam am na koo tiit na lool ci diggante ak boromam. mbaa du yàqu yi.
diggante du fi yàqoo diggante dina ko defar fii.
ndax nag réeroo amul daal waaye ñàkk a waxtaan a am bu ñu waxtaanee gindandikoo. programme boobu nag ana ñen ñoo koy amal.
Mouhamadou Lamine Kane al Mansour ànd ak xaritam Baye Dame Diouf ñooy def diggante.
Gambian Talents TV. ñoo leen di indil programme bu mag boobule.
dinañ ko indi ajuma bu nekk bu juróom-ñetti waxtu jotee ba juróom-ñeenti waxtu ak genn wàll.